All right. Good evening, dear students. It's a pleasure to be with you again. Today it's Friday, and we are going to continue with our classes. All right. It's very good to be with you. Yesterday we had, I think, a very successful and fruitful practice of the fourth task of the speaking section and also of the writing section, first task specifically. And now we're going to continue with that dynamic, okay? We're going to practice for the fourth task of the speaking section and also for the writing section task number 1, all right? So what am I going to do right now? We're going to start today with the speaking section, okay? Just a few exercises, and then we're going to move on to the writing section, okay? Let's go. So let me share my screen with you. Here we are. There. Okay, fantastic. Paula is joining us as well. Paula, good evening. Pleasure to be with you as well. Okay, so I was telling your classmates that today we're going to start practicing the fourth task of the speaking section, and then we're going to move on to the first task of the writing section. Okay, today we're just going to practice. And that is exactly what you need for these two sections. It's a matter of practice because the theory is tremendously easy, right? You don't have anything to learn, but the very short structure for the speaking section, and in the case of the writing section task number 1, well, the only thing you need to memorize is the template, but it's basically a matter of playing, right, with the contrast. All right, very good. So constant practice, speaking, and speaking task number 4. We're going to start with this. And okay, let's go. Actually, we're going to use this one. I think that we have used that one very much. So let's start with this material here. Yeah, okay, let's go. So let me
So the light source controls the, but I should say, so higher or lower power, just in case.
Okay, here.
Identically priced two products is the choice.
All right, here, number 2. Okay, so dear students, remind for this task, very important to take notes. Then we're going to practice for this task by simply making a summary of everything we listened to in this lecture. Okay, so please make sure to take your notes and please let us go. Give me a second here. Okay, so please start listening now.
If a consumer has to choose between two products, what determines the choice? Assume that someone, a purchaser, is choosing between two products that cost the same, okay? If people have a choice between two identically priced products, which one will they choose? They choose the one they think is of higher quality, of course. But what does it mean for a product to be a high-quality product? Well, business analysts usually speak of two major factors of quality. One factor is reliability, and the other is what we call features. So reliability. What's reliability? Well, a product is reliable if it works the way we expect it to work, if it can go a reasonable amount of time without needing repairs. If a product, a car for example, doesn't work the way it should and needs repairs too soon, we say it's unreliable. So product reliability means basically the absence of defects or problems that you weren't expecting. It used to be that when people thought about product quality, they thought mainly about reliability. Today, it's different. People do still care about reliability, don't get me wrong. It's just that manufacturing standards are now so high that, we'll take cars for example, Today's cars are very reliable. So reliability is important, but it's not going to be the deciding factor. So if reliability isn't the deciding factor anymore, what is? Features, all those extras, the things a product has that aren't really necessary, but that make it easier to use or that make it cool. For example, new cars today are loaded with features like electric windows, sunroofs, air conditioning, stereos, and so forth. When people are comparing products today, they look at features because reliability is pretty much equal across the board. and that's why manufacturers include so many features in their products.
Now let's talk about a particular
Oh,
cultural
I'm sorry,
process,
I'm sorry.
diffusion. Since the beginning of human history.
Okay, there we are. So I'm gonna give you your 20 seconds, all right, in order to prepare your responses for this task. And then we are going to listen the responses you may brought to the table, okay? So let me open the chronometer here. And also let me see as well the timer, okay? So here, put this here, okay. So please enjoy this 20 seconds in order to prepare your responses and start responding now. Very good. Somebody got out? Oh, Paola did it. Okay, sadly. Fantastic. So please, Nata, you're going to start with this round of responses. Okay, here we are. Okay, fantastic. So Nata, you're going to start. Let me open this here, my notebook, in order to take notes of what you say. There you are. Fantastic. So Nata, you're going to start, please. Begin responding to the question. Oh, wait, give me a second. Apparently the minute has been altered here. I'm gonna change it to 1 minute because that is the time, right? Fantastic. So Nata, please enable your microphone and start deliver your response now.
In this lecture, we've been presented to the fascinating topic of what makes us decide between two products that cost the same. And the answer is quality. And there's two factors that determine this quality. The first one is the reliability or the absence of defects. And this means that the thing that we're going to buy works the way we expect it to work. But this is not a deciding future, but futures are. And those are new things that the product has added to it. For example, a car, we don't decide if a car, when buying a car, we don't decide if it just works. We decide between a lot of options like nice design, good speakers, and such. So it's something that makes it better.
Fantastic. There you are. Very good, Nara. Sebastian, it's going to be your turn. Please enable your mic and start delivering your response now.
In this topic, we have introduced to the question of why a customer decides between a product that has the same, between two products that have the same price. And for them, they choose with the quality per the quality has two things. For example, reliability, which reliability that has that in the ya me trabo.
No, it's okay. I listened to something moving. I guess it was your pet, right? All right, doesn't matter. Okay,
Yes.
Sebastian, don't worry. Don't worry, don't worry. Would you like to go again?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So please start responding now.
In this topic, we have in this lecture, we have introduced to the question of what makes a customer to decide between a product that cost the same. For example, and the reason is for choosing one product is it's their quality. This quality has two features. Well, that one is reliability. Don't, that means that this thing doesn't, for example, a car that breaks to that every time we have to take it to the mechanic is often taken as unreliable. And the other thing is are the features that has the extra things, the things that makes them original and easy to use, or other things, or for example, that's it.
Right. Fantastic. Very good, Sebastian. Very good. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think that as I have pointed out to you before, your English is very solid, and also the way you summarize is quite complete. So I don't have any complaints with regard to the responses. I think it's just very good. And of course, don't worry that in the test center, obviously your doc is not going to distract you. So of course, you're not going to have that factor, let's say, in the equation. But nonetheless, for now, it's fine, right? We are at home, and sometimes our dogs are a little bit annoying, right? But fantastic, very good, Sebastian and Nata. Fantastic response. A little bit you know, how's this? Worried for Paula. Apparently she got out. Did she send some message to the WhatsApp group? No, right? Okay. I was happy that she got into. Well, we're gonna have to continue them. Okay, so we're gonna start with the essays, dear students. Okay, we're gonna start with the essays. So let's get into practice for that. In this case, we're going to use the simulator, integrated essay, and also here practice mode. Fantastic. So yesterday we wrote an essay. Well, you wrote an essay, right, in groups, but now you're going to write down to your essay individually. Okay, all of you are going to be writing down an essay. But as I say, these are going to be individual essays. Nata is going to write one, Sebastian another, and at the end we're going to compare them, and we're going to be, of course, offering some feedback so you can improve maybe some issues with your grammar, or something with your orthography, or something with regard to the template. Okay, but what is this? Right? Yes, answer, whatever. Next question. Okay, there we are. Okay, we're going to use this one. Okay, it says I think it's about history, I'm not sure, but we are going to be reading it in the WhatsApp group, okay? Because it's too long for the chat box of Zoom to tolerate it. So there you are. Okay, you can read this one, okay? It says during the 18th century, stuff like that. So please serve yourself of 30 seconds, excuse me, 3 minutes, it's not 30 seconds, 3 minutes in order to read this, right? And then we are going to be starting with the lecture on the same topic. So please start reading now. All right, there we are. Now that we have ended with the 3 minutes of reading, let's get into the lecture on the same topic. All right, let's go. Take your notes, okay?
Now listen to a lecture on the topic you just read about.
Your textbook provides a rather one-sided account of Rococo art, dismissing it as an uninspired movement and suggesting that its aristocratic focus, shallow subject matter, and over-ornamentation have led critics to look down on the style. Now, it's definitely true that Rococo art has faced a lot of criticism over the years, but at the same time, I want to argue today that the textbook's dismissal is a bit overstated. It's definitely true that much Rococo art, like the Palace of Versailles in France and its luxurious interiors, for example, it's true that a lot of Rococo artists worked for aristocratic patrons, but that's not unique to Rococo. I mean, the vast majority of world art before the modern era was created for wealthy audiences. And at the same time, a lot of great Rococo work was done in places like churches, which were meeting places for all elements of society. Those churches didn't just serve aristocrats. And as for the idea that Rococo art is superficial, well, that also seems somewhat misguided to me. Paintings of things like scenes of aristocratic picnics, they're often surprisingly sophisticated. For example, Fragonard's painting The Swing, a painting of two men pushing a young woman on a swing, is very subtle. The relationships between all three people in it are beautifully suggested by these tiny details in their facial expressions and postures. This wasn't shallow or frivolous work at all. Rococo artists, actually explored their subjects with real sensitivity and sophistication. And they also created amazing works of art. The idea that they used too much ornamentation is just, well, an opinion. Today, art often emphasizes simplicity, but there's also something to be said for more elaborate techniques. Rococo artists were pioneers in a way. They experimented with color, asymmetrical surfaces, and mixed media to create paintings that still impress viewers centuries later.
Summarize the points made in the lecture, being sure to explain how they challenge.
There we are. Fantastic. So, Paula, I see that you came back. With you, we are going to get into the material right now, okay? In order for you to complete this task as well. So, Nara and Sebastian, you know what to do, right? You know that you have to write down your essays. So I'm going to separate you, okay, into I'm going to separate you into different rooms for you to be quiet and for you to be calm while writing down your essay. And I think that is going to be helpful because, of course, I'm going to be showing Paola all the material that you have already received. And if you continue in this room, you're going to be bothered by the audio. So I'm going to break out the class right now. And I'm going to be, as I say, I'm going to be allowing you to write down calmly, all right? So Paola, I'm going to right now invitate all of you to different rooms, okay, separate rooms, but Paola, please, you must not accept, okay? In this case, Paola, please remain here with me in this main room. And Nat and Sebastian, please accept the invitation and get into your rooms and start writing down your essay as soon as you get into, okay? Because your 20 minutes are going to begin as soon as you get into. Nata? Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, should we write in the document that the first group as yesterday?
Yes. Okay, yes, I'm gonna send the links again. Yeah, you had to, but you're right. Maybe it's a good idea to resend them. So I sent how many yesterday? Second. Okay, so Nata, the one for you is going to be the one that says first group. Okay, it's already there. Look for it. Sebastian, the one for you is going to be the document that says second. All right, look at it. Second group. So Nata, the first one, and Sebastian, the second one. Okay, scroll down until the last page. You're gonna find space there and write down your essay. Okay. So as I say, start writing your essay as soon as you get into the separate room. Okay. So please, both of you accept the invitation, and Paola, please remain with me in order to receive the material. Okay. So please, guys, start writing now. Okay, so Paola, please stay with me, okay? The rest of you go to your separate rooms. All right. Oh no, Paola also went. All right. That's all right. Oh, Paola, you came back. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. There we are. So Paola, what happened?
Can you send?
Excuse me, yes,
I don't
Sebastian?
know why.
You get out?
Yeah.
All right, yes, yes, first again. Mm. All right, there you go, Sebastian. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Again, please don't go there. Okay, there you are. Go. Okay, now, Paola, fantastic. Oh, not that. Okay, there you are. Oh, again. Sebastian, you got out again? What happened?
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Right?
Just
Oh,
back
super weird.
to the group one.
Yes. So I'm gonna send you to the room number 1. Okay, so please go. I think this case is not going to take you out. Okay. Are you able to okay, there you go. Fantastic. Okay, Paola. So now you and I, we are going to, can you listen to me, right, Paola?
Yes, teacher.
Fantastic. Okay, so for you, there is a reading passage in the WhatsApp group, Paola, that talks about an art movement. Okay, so you're going to have 3 minutes to read that passage, and then you're going to listen to a lecture so that you can also write down your essay practicing for the first task of the writing section. Okay, so please read this passage. You're going to have 3 minutes, and then we're going to listen together to the lecture. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Fantastic. So please start reading now. It's this one, by the way, okay? The one that says during the 18th century. Please read that one. During the 18th century, that's the prefacing phrase. Okay, Paula, the time's over now. So please let us listen to the lecture on the same topic. Okay, remind that it is very important for you to take notes so that you can synthesize information later in your essay. All right, so please start listening now.
Now listen to a lecture on the topic you just read about.
Your textbook provides a rather one-sided account of Rococo art, dismissing it as an uninspired movement and suggesting that its aristocratic focus, shallow subject matter, and over-ornamentation have led critics to look down on the style. Now, it's definitely true that Rococo art has faced a lot of criticism over the years, but at the same time, I want to argue today that the textbook's dismissal is a bit overstated. It's definitely true that much Rococo art, like the Palace of Versailles in France and its luxurious interiors, for example, it's true that a lot of Rococo artists worked for aristocratic patrons, but that's not unique to Rococo. I mean, the vast majority of world art before the modern era was created for wealthy audiences. And at the same time, a lot of great Rococo work was done in places like churches, which were meeting places for all elements of society. Those churches didn't just serve aristocrats. And as for the idea that Rococo art is superficial, well, that also seems somewhat misguided to me. Paintings of things like scenes of aristocratic picnics, they're often surprisingly sophisticated. For example, Fragonard's painting The Swing, a painting of two men pushing a young woman on a swing, is very subtle. The relationships between all three people in it are beautifully suggested by these tiny details in their facial expressions and postures. This wasn't shallow or frivolous work at all. Rococo artists, actually explored their subjects with real sensitivity and sophistication. And they also created amazing works of art. The idea that they used too much ornamentation is just, well, an opinion. Today, art often emphasizes simplicity, but there's also something to be said for more elaborate techniques. Rococo artists were pioneers in a way. They experimented with color, asymmetrical surfaces, and mixed media to create paintings that still impress viewers centuries later.
Summarize the points made in.
Okay, there we are. Dear Paula, were you able to be present in the class in which we discussed how to write down the essay for the first task of the writing section?
No, teacher.
Oh, you weren't able. But have you seen the class that I uploaded to YouTube? Yes?
Not yet, teacher. I'm sorry. In these days, I was very occupied
All right.
with a lot of things. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, dear Paula. No, it's fine. Don't worry. Okay, so wonderful. Nonetheless, I'm gonna send right now, okay, to the WhatsApp group a template, okay? That is to say, a structure that will help you to know how to write down the essay, okay? Now, of course, in order for you to get even and to learn how to do it more specifically and with more details, please, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, all right? The one that it is in the description of the WhatsApp group, and look for the class of past yesterday, that is to say Wednesday's class, and you're going to find there a very detailed explanation of how to write out the essay, okay, that I gave to your classmates. Nonetheless, what is going to help you today is going to be this document that I'm sending again to the WhatsApp group. Okay, so okay, here you are. So I sent right now a document, okay? So this is the template that we are using for the essay. And there you're going to find the template and also an example that I wrote for a topic. I think it was about an emperor of the Roman Empire. So by reading this, you're going to be able to get a glance of how to write it, okay? So for today's class, please, I'm going to send you to the separate room and try to write it down as good as you can, okay? It's going to be fine. Don't worry, because by also listening to my feedback to your classmates, you're going to learn more how to write down the essay, okay? And I, again, strongly recommend you to go and to check that video that I uploaded to YouTube with the entire class and with a very detailed explanation of how to write it, okay? Paula, it's fine? Can you understand that?
Yes, teacher.
All right, fantastic. There we are. So, okay. So I'm gonna send you, okay, to the, by the way, where are you going to write down your essay? Here. There is a, I'm gonna send this again. There's a link in the WhatsApp group that says third group. I'm gonna send it again. It's a link to a Google document, okay? Don't worry, I'm gonna send it again. Third group. Here, third group. N210. Okay, there you are. So look at the WhatsApp group as well. Paola, there's a link to a Google document that says third group. Get into that link, okay? You're going to write down your essay there so that I can see it. Scroll down until the end of the document because there are some writings there already. So scroll down until the end, find a space for you to write and write down your essay there, okay? So I'm gonna get you into the separate room. You're not going to have very much time because, well, we're about to finish the class and we're gonna give feedback to your classmates, but nonetheless, the time you have, try to take advantage of it, okay? Paula?
Okay, teacher.
Fantastic, there you are. So I'm gonna send you, okay? Where's it? Breakout rooms. All right, so please accept the invitation. I see you later, okay? Okay, good that you came back, Nata. We're going to call we're going to summon the other classmates. Okay, it's time. You're going to start coming back. Okay, there we are. You came back. Fantastic. So very good. I hope that you managed to finalize your essays. We're going to check it out right now. So very good. Okay, let's start, I think, with first group, or did I should say Nata, because she got this link, right? So we're going to offer some feedback, okay, to all of your essays so that you can improve and so that we can all improve, okay? Let's go. Let's see what Nata wrote. So it says, the reading part starts off with the critic. Oh no, I think there's an introduction here, or no? No, this is fine. So it says, the reading part starts out with the critic of Rococo for being so superficial and for lacking substance and inspiration. While the listening part leads off with the critic of the ones who criticize this style without considering some important facts. Very good. I'm going to proceed to explain both views. Fantastic. Here, the only detail would be, dear Nata, that when you introduce this transition phrase, I mean this phrase here, right? Because so that we can all remind, after we finish our introduction, remember that our introduction is basically a space in which we're going to detail that there is an opposition, right, between the reading passage and the listening passage. And here Nata did that very well. Okay, fantastic. Here. Here, so I was mentioning, what is going to happen is that after you finish your introduction, as Nata did very well, you have to include a transition phrase that helps to understand that you are ending with your introduction and you're moving into your body, right? The body of your essay. So this introduction, or excuse me, this transition phrase must always go with column or 2 points, right? And give some space as well, because that is to say, you are as you are marking here the start or the beginning of something new. That's the reason why you're going to use here 2 points or column. Okay, so just in case you want to know that, this is a very good introduction, and the only detail will be that. Okay, the column or the 2 points at the end of the transition phrase. Fantastic. What else? First, the reading extract explains that Rococo was just for aristocratic people, even when in the 18th century social equality was gaining importance. Very good. It showed the opulence, vanity, and superficiality of them. Fantastic. I love, for example, how Nata here is writing short sentences. And remember, I told you yesterday, right? That in English, it's always better and preferable to use short sentences, not long sentences as we are maybe used in Spanish, right? That when we write in Spanish, excuse me, we normally use long sentences without very much punctuation, right? But in the case of English, it's better to write down short sentences, right? That is what they are used to. Very good, this. Nevertheless, in the listening, okay, by the way, here, when you're using a connector, it's super important that you must remind this rule. A connector goes after a period and before a comma. I repeat, okay? A connector goes after a period and before a comma. So if you're going to use a connector like nevertheless, nonetheless, likewise, furthermore, make sure that you include this, the comma, all right? It's a very single, very tiny detail, but it's super important in grammar, okay? So nevertheless, or any connector, likewise, moreover, furthermore, whatever, after a period and before a comma, okay? Nevertheless, comma, in the listening, we are suggested that the style wasn't just for the aristocracy, but for all the classes. Good. For example, Rococo churches were used by everybody. Very good. Second, the reading part explains that the art lacks sophistication for having not serious subjects. I think that so not serious. Well, it's fine. It doesn't sound very orthodox, but it's fine, I think. Yeah, grammatically, it's fine for having so not serious subjects like picnics so that they have no philosophical value. Very good. Meanwhile, again, this is a connector, right? Meanwhile, comma, the listening says that they do have sophistication. For example, on a famous picture of a picnic, the artist pictured it with the delicacy and a lot of thought, so it was beautifully suggested. Wonderful, very good. Finally, the reading part criticizes the materials used by saying that the way, that the materials they used, the materials used by saying that they were very expensive and too opulent and gaudy, meaning that they put style over substance. Very good. On the other hand, again, this is a connector, right? So when you use a connector, on the other hand, like this one, you're always going to use comma, right? On the other hand, comma, the listening says that the artists were pretty much experimental with materials and that opulence was just a choice. Very good, fantastic. How many words do you have, Ada? Let's see. I think it's a very good quantity of words, by the way. I'm gonna check it out. The word counter. Let's see. I'm gonna clean this. You got 217 words. Fantastic, very good, Nara. Remind that the minimum quantity of words you are required to write down are 550. And given that you wrote more than 150, well, fantastic, right? 150, but you got 217, and fantastic, you overpassed the limit by a long quantity. Okay, but very good, Nana, very good essay. So just try to keep on mind the tiny recommendation I gave you with regard to connectors. Okay, let's see. Second group. Okay, just let me scroll down till the end. Here it is. Okay, let's see what Sebastian did. Okay, the Rococo style. Introduction. The reading extra leads off with the position that the Rococo style in art and architecture lacks depth, and it was merely used to please the luxurious demands of aristocratic people. Very good. In the other hand, in the listening lecture, here in this case, for example, he is using the connector very well. In the other hand, comma, right? Very good. In the listening lecture, we hear that the previous idea is derogatory. Fine, good word. Remind, always use advanced words as much as you can, okay, within the essay. That is going to augment your reputation because advanced vocabulary is a synonym of a good score, okay? So it says that the previous idea is derogatory to the style and that it has more meaning than its detractors say. Firstly, it can be said that the clients of Rococo, okay, here, for example, it like the connection phrase, right? I will, let's say, I will discuss these ideas a bit deeper, right? Something like that. I'm sorry for this. I will discuss these ideas a bit deeper, right? And colon, that's the idea. I will discuss these ideas a bit deeper. Okay, that will be my own recommendation for this introduction. But with regard to the summary, it was wonderful. Firstly, it can be said that the clients of Rococo artists were mainly aristocrats. Nonetheless, okay, in this case, for example, you got a connector here, right? Nonetheless, so remind, nonetheless goes always after a period, which means, of course, that it's going to start with capital letter and with comma, all right? But very good. Nonetheless, they weren't the only ones. Okay, I like, for example, how here you're using semicolon, and remind that after a semicolon, you are not going to use capital letter as Sebastian did. Very good. It's just lowercase, for instance, and after you finish a little sentence, after your semicolon, you also use comma, because this phrase like here, after a colon, or excuse me, a semicolon in this case, works as a connector, all right? So remind that for connectors, you always put them before a comma. And when you use a semicolon like this one, for example, the phrase that comes after that, it is basically a connector. So given that it is a connector, you're going to use it before a comma, as Sebastian did. So this is a correct use of the semicolon, okay? Just in case, for example, you wanted to check it out. It's a very good use of semicolon, very good, Sebastian. And this type of resource, this literary device, it's very good because it allows the reviewer to know that you are very well knowledgeable in writing, okay? Because not all people know how to utilize the symbols. So very good. For instance, the church was one of the most important ones. Very good. Secondly, we read the Rococo art had no real depth because of the lack of philosophical elements, and also because the style was about frivolous, okay? Good word, by the way, frivolous topics. Contrary to this idea, the listening lecture argues that it wasn't superficial at all. And actually, it was very sophisticated due to the little details spotted for, okay, here, for example, again, for instance, in this case, this is a connector, right? So a connector goes after a period and before a comma. For instance, in the picnic scenes portrait. Okay, I think that he didn't manage to finish, but nonetheless, it was very good, Sebastian, until this point. Let's see how many words you got. Control C, and let's see the quantity of words. We're going to clean this up. 158 words. By the way, actually, you didn't finish the essay, but you already got the 150 words that are the minimum. So very good, Sebastian. Okay, very good essay, good quality. In this case, by the way, very good vocabulary. Frivolous, right? Frivolous is not a word very common in English. Frivolous. You could have said instead, you know, unimportant, but you decided to use frivolous, which means exactly the same, right? Very good. Yeah, so both of you fantastic, dear students. Let's see. Okay, so Paula didn't have time to finish because she started later, but don't worry, Paula. I think let's see what you did at this point. It says the reading extra that's up with Rococo style. Show their impact in other century. Their impact, it was weird with an aristocratic pattern. Okay, first, this type of style caused an essential impact of the work. Very good. Don't worry about that. As you could see by listening to my feedback to your classmates, the idea with this essay is to contrast. Because if you notice, the listening passage contradicts what the reading passage said, right? The reading passage argued against this movement of art, and the listening passage defended the movement. So the overall idea for this essay is that you need to convey, to express this contradiction between two topics, the reading against the listening. So all your essay is going to be about that, how the reading passage says something positive and the listening passage says something negative. And you always have to contrast that. Okay, so I please encourage you again to go to the YouTube channel to watch the class that you lost. And you're going to be able to write down this essay perfectly. All right, but very good, Paula. I think that you got the idea. Fantastic. Any question, dear students, Paula, Sebastian? Anything that you may want me to clarify?
No, teacher.
Right, Nata, any question? Paula?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, tell me, Nata.
Sorry. Are we going to be? Are they going to look at if we copy something from the original text?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to perceive that as something bad?
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you for the question, Nata. I mean, yes, if you do it, let's say, too much, or if you do it, let's say, beyond the limitations. What is the legal use of copying and pasting information? The legal use, for example, so what is a, okay, close it, but for example, this is the reading passage, right? So for example, you want to remark this part. So you copy this, let's say, this. You copy this, right? You copy this. And in your essay, for example, you want to paste it. The legal use of pasting things within your essay that are already included in the reading passage would be something like this, that you want to quote, quieren citar algo, for example. The reading passage claims the following, right? Comma, like this. This would be a legal use, okay? This would be a correct use of this capacity you have in order to copy and paste. But this exercise of quoting things, all right, is not something that you have to do every single time or in repeated times during your essay. Do it once, do it once, do it twice, let's say even 3 times, all right? But more than that would be, I would say, an abuse of the capacity you have to copy and to paste, because of course they are going to notice it and they are not going to take it very much positively, especially because that quotation you are somehow bringing to your document is helping you to get more words, right? So they are going to look at that as an attempt of your person to do that. That is to say, to increase your quantity of words by copying and pasting and not writing. So my recommendation, as I say, is do this. You can do it, of course. That's the reason why they allow you to do it. But do it consciously and precautiously. As I say, no more than 2 times, all right? But this is the use, by quoting, no pasting, just as it is, but quoting. The reading passage claims the following, comma, and then you use the symbol and you quote, and you of course close the sentence, and then you continue, right? Moreover, and then you continue your essay, right? This can help us to understand, blah, 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 right? That is the idea. Is it clear, dear Nata?
Yeah, thanks.
All right, my pleasure. So that is the legal and legitimate use of this technique, okay? Wonderful. So we're going to stop the class here. I'm going to take your assistance. Please don't go. And please help me, dear students, with the traditional poll that we always feel, that you know that you help me a lot feeling it positively, okay? Please help me with that. And I'm going to be taking your assistance, and please say present when you listen to your name for the evidence, okay, that you have been here. Let's see. Take this out. So is here, let's see, Ceruto Natalia Fernanda.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What about Sebastián Emilio? Very good, Sebastián. And Paula, I think, Paula, are you here? She got out, right? Doesn't matter, we're gonna cover her. She was here, present. Okay, fantastic. Okay, very good, dear students. It's been a pleasure. Oh, Paula came back. Very good. Paula came back. It's fine. Paula, don't worry. I took your assistance already, so you are registered. Okay, I put you present. Don't worry. Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much, dear students. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and see you next class. All right. That is to say, next week we're going to continue with the writing section, and I will have a lot of material for you. And actually, you're going to have the opportunity to send homework for me. So let's wait for that. Okay. Thank you very much, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend. See you later.